Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. Another crazy day in news. Obviously, we are going into a day 4 of deliberations on the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and another. I mean, it's strange to say nail biting, but when you sit there and look at a seal, a court seal or whatever kind of seal that is, that's it gets a little nuts. So the only time that I recall the judge spoke today was to basically let everybody know of an incident that happened last night, and a person that affiliates themselves with MSNBC. Apparently was following the bus that the jury rides in, and kind of brought some attention to himself when he ran a red light. So anyway, MSNBC has been banned from the courthouse, not just the courtroom, but from the courthouse. So whatever that intent was, you got me. A lot of wild stuff. So outside today, there were a few little brushes. There was an apparent arrest. I don't know if they actually arrested and booked the guy, but there was somebody there with a firearm. Apparently, that's within whatever 1,000 feet or something like that of a school or something like that. So you're not supposed to have a firearm there, according to their law. That's at least what I heard on one of the streams that I was watching today as to what the deal was with that. Other than that, like I say, no verdict. I kind of have my suspicions as to what's going to happen. I think. I don't know if it's, the jury will come back guilty or not guilty. The longer it takes, it does look more like guilty. That's just the way it usually goes. However, there's not, there's a whole lot of not usuallys in this case. And another one of those is that the judge could very well, due to this video that was put forward and seemed to be manipulated before given to the defense. I don't know. That judge may decide to dismiss this, and it could be either with or without prejudice. So all we can do is sit back and see how things play out. Mostly the spirit was pretty calm today. I watched a stream to where a gentleman walked around and made a point. He was a Trump supporter and and of course a Kyle Rittenhouse supporter, and he was walking around and making an effort to show peace. The sheriff's department actually had put out some Dunkin' Donut cookies and coffee as an offering of peace, and I thought that was awful nice of the Kenosha Sheriff's Department. Actually, and if you've been around here, I don't say things like that too often, but I thought that was a very, very good show of faith and a show of kindness. And like I say, it was pretty peaceful most of the day, and there was a lot of good conversations going on, and that's what we need the most, because I truly think that the more that individuals talk, individuals that differ in very major ways, I think that the more those individuals talk to one another, the more that they'll realize all the more they have in common. So, I think that's kind of important to be able to achieve, and that's one good thing that I see coming out of this, is that there is dialogues being had. So that's a good thing. Anyway, I did work on an image today. I'm giving you a warning. Tomorrow, I'll probably put up a video to let you guys know it's there and let the world know it's there. That's the only way anybody knows about these. I'm probably going to have another t-shirt put up. I came up with the design that, I don't know, I think it's pretty hilarious myself. And anyway, I'll show you real quick. Right there. Let me get rid of me. Well, got to do it from the screen here. So, Fafo University, and Inserticus Footicus Rectimus. I thought that would be a pretty good addition to put at the bottom. So anyway, I'm just going to do like black and white on shirt. I'm going to do like t-shirts and then sweatshirts, and I might do some other things like pillows and stuff, but I'm not going to do the full gambit of colors and all that other stuff. I'm going to keep it simple and see how low I can get the price out there to where I get a little bit and still not be their ultra premium price. So anyway, expect a video out tomorrow on that. So let's see. Go back up here to the studio. I usually connect with my phone to my software, my streaming software, and it's being a pain in the butt right now, so I don't know what the deal is. It's back. So anyway, I figured I would show you that, give you the warning that will be coming tomorrow. Trying to think if there is anything else that I can think of that I specifically noted today that it went on. Trying to think. Like I say, it's just a lot of watching this dude walk around, and he'd talk to people here and there. Like I say, the mood was pretty calm for most of the part, anyway. Can't think of anything else really notable. Trying to think. I know on TV there's a Fox streaming channel that we get, and most of the day they were covering the Ahmaud Arbery trial, and I didn't tune in to check that out, to be honest. I really haven't been keeping up on that. It was kind of a hectic day for me because I was trying to keep up with what was going on outside of the courthouse there in Kenosha. And then, of course, I had the TV on to keep an eye on any trial updates there in Kenosha. And then Microsoft Flight Simulator had an update today. So it's like Christmas for me, right? Because they released the F-18 and all that. It's, yeah. So, and that's a big, it's not, when I say an update, it's not like it takes 2 minutes to update it. It takes like, at least an hour and a half, 2 hours to update. And then you got to go in and do this, that, and the other thing. So, yeah, I spent quite a bit of time today trying to get all that in order. And you can imagine who's going to be flying in the morning. I've already started editing the files for the F-18. Making my own little special mod, and yeah, lots of fun. So already having a bunch of fun with it. But anyway, trying to think, that pretty well covers my day, other than going through news as it would come in, and there was quite a bit of that. I am going to get to the topic that I have the show titled. That is in the list of news here. Not a super big list like there had been the last couple of nights. I've got I guess five links open. So and a lot of them has to do with COVID, lockdowns, vaccines. So a lot of craziness going on in the world, that's for sure. We have a couple of vapes. I'll go ahead and bring you on over to the first story here. Now, I'm not certain. Let's see, 1 second here. Yeah, this was the first one to come out. It says another European country imposes COVID lockdown for unvaccinated. Quick little article here. It says Slovakia has become the latest European country to implement lockdown restrictions on people who haven't had the COVID vaccine, as it seeks to prevent a resurgence in infections and hospital admissions over the winter. Slovakian Prime Minister Eduard Heger announced the new measures in a press conference on Thursday, declaring a lockdown for the unvaccinated after the country reported a record number of new cases. The new restrictions in Slovakia, which come into effect on Monday, will require people to have been vaccinated or recovered from COVID in the past 6 months to enter restaurants, non-essential shops, or public events. In the past few days, the European nation has seen record numbers of new infections, including over 8,000 on Tuesday, with hospitals running out of space to treat COVID patients. Slovakia has one of the lowest rates of vaccination in the European Union, with over 50% of individuals still not jabbed. The country of around 5.5 million has so far only inoculated 2.5 million people against the virus. Earlier this week, Austria became the first nation to impose restrictions on unvaccinated individuals as it sought to limit pressure on hospitals and emergency care units. The move came into effect at midnight on Monday for anyone aged 12 and older who has not received their COVID vaccine or recently recovered from the virus. The German state of Bavaria and Czech Republic followed Austria in restricting access for unvaccinated individuals. Only people who can show proof of vaccination or that they have recently recovered from COVID will be allowed to enter public spaces such as restaurants and shops. So, as this mentioned Austria, well, this here says Austria may lock down the vaccinated too. So this is a step up from what has been done already. So, I mean, isn't this unbelievable? They're like, okay, so if you don't got the jab, we're gonna lock you down. And you know, I don't know what's going on over there in Austria, but I imagine if not enough is going on, if you know what I'm saying, now they're like, okay, well, the vaccinated too. We're just gonna lock everybody down. And I'm telling you, expect the same thing here. Expect it here. Let me read this one. Just 3 days after unvaccinated Austrians were told to be quarantined, a provincial governor is pressuring for a nationwide lockdown on all residents as COVID-19 infections continue setting record highs. Well, yeah. If no national lockdown is ordered tomorrow, there will definitely have to be a lockdown of several weeks in Upper Austria together or with our neighboring province Salzburg as of next week. Upper Austria Governor Thomas Stelzer told lawmakers on Thursday. That will mean that at least 2 of Austria's 9 provinces will be in full lockdown mode just days after the nation created a 2-tier society by locking down the locking down the approximately 2 million unvaccinated Austrians. We must raise the vaccination rate. It is shamefully low, Chancellor Alexander Schallenberg said on Sunday, announcing that unvaccinated residents would only be allowed to leave their homes for essential purposes, such as buying groceries or going to a doctor's office. Police are now doing random checks for proof of vaccination on Austrian streets. Those unvaccinated residents who are found to be in violation of the lockdown order face steep fines of up to 500 euros. Those who refuse to go through a vaccination status check will have to pay about 3 times as much. Stelzer and other Austrian governors are scheduled to meet with Schallenberg and Health Minister Wolfgang Muckstein on Friday, when a full lockdown will likely be considered. New COVID-19 cases in the country passed the 15,000 mark for the first time on Thursday, far surpassing 2020's daily high of 9,586, set when no vaccines were available. Upper Austria and Salzburg have been hit the hardest putting hospitals at risk of bed shortages with some 66% of its population fully vaccinated, Austria lags behind other Western European countries in terms of the COVID-19 vaccination rate. While Austria is the first to impose a lockdown on the unvaccinated, other EU countries, including Slovakia, Czechia, and Greece, have imposed increasingly tight restrictions on people who haven't taken a COVID vaccine. So again, absolute insanity when it comes to this, and it really doesn't seem. Hang on, I'm trying to get back over to this view. Like I say, my phone program's really lagging for some reason. It does that once in a while. But anyway, absolutely insane restrictions, lockdowns, and this is going on in many different countries. I think we're going to see those the number of countries increase, and I do think at some point it's going to come here. I think it's inevitable, actually. We'll see what happens. There's a lot going on this front, and I mean a lot. It's not just it's not just the legal battle as far as whether or not what the heck? Oh, okay. It's not just the legal battle as in whether or not they have the rights to do this, but it's also their, what was it, $1,000 per second? I read yesterday on one of the headlines that they were making, these pharmaceutical companies. There is so much insanity involved with all of this. It's unreal. And you've got, and I can't go that deep into it because YouTube will do YouTube things, but it makes no sense that they're going through and they're wanting to lock everybody down. And that's one thing, but then when you make that two-tier society and you want to lock down just the unvaccinated, when as far as the spreading of it and stuff doesn't appear going to be a whole lot different. This just doesn't, none of this makes sense, and I don't think you can make it make sense. I really don't. I don't believe for a second that this is just a 100% profit motive. I think that that's a fringe benefit, but I don't think that's the primary goal here. I don't know. Again, I can't go deep into anything here because I'll get schwacked. So trying not to get schwacked. So let me have a sip of coffee, and then we'll get into the headline that actually is the title of the show, which you guys have probably been saying, hey, jackass, why don't you talk about what you titled the show? That would be nice. Just one moment. Oh, man. You gotta just take it nice and easy. Can't rush it. Like other things, you might make a big mess. Anyway. Goodness. I'm glad it's our Friday. Oh, man. I'm telling you. I have got a date with an F-18 tomorrow. I might have a date with an F-18 after the show for at least a little bit, because, yeah. I made some adjustments to it right before I started the show, and I'm telling you, this is a fact. I will lay in bed, and I will stare at the ceiling, and I will think and wonder about how that F-18 flies after I made those adjustments. So I better just get it out of my system. Anyway. Alright. Guess there's only one way to do this. And YouTube, I'm just reading an article. So, chillax. So this came out today. Release of U.S. vaccine data may take till 2076. That's It's awful convenient, isn't it, for some people? Not us, but for some people. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration may take 55 years to release all the documents it used to declare Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine safe, a group of doctors and professors claim. The FDA approved Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for people aged 16 and over in August, and last month extended its emergency use authorization to children as young as 5. This week, FDA regulators are expected to permit booster doses of Pfizer's product for adults aged 18 and over. When a group of doctors, professors, and journalists calling themselves public health and medical professionals for transparency submitted a Freedom of Information Act request for the documents the FDA had used to issue the authorization in August, they say they were ignored. The group filed a lawsuit this week demanding FDA bosses sit down with them and schedule the release of these documents, with more than 329,000 pages of data to be released. The group argued that a scheduling meeting was necessary. Otherwise, if the FDA processed these documents at the pace typical for FOIA requests, it would release just 500 pages per month. At that speed, they say, the final pages would be made public only in 2076, 55 years after the vaccine was authorized. The group hopes to force the FDA to release 80,000 pages per month instead, a schedule that would see all documents made public in a little over 4 months. Lawyer Aaron Siri, representing the group, claimed the FDA explicitly asked the court for 55 years to release the documents. It took the FDA precisely 108 days from when Pfizer started producing the records for licensure to when the FDA licensed the Pfizer vaccine, Siri wrote. While it can conduct the intense review of Pfizer's documents in 108 days, it now asks for over 20,000 days to make these documents available to the public. According to court documents, the FDA's proposed schedule of 500 pages per month is consistent with schedules set by courts across the country, including in cases where the underlying records were of national significance. Reports of side effects from Pfizer's jab are relatively rare but growing. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Vaccines Adverse Event Reporting System, or VAERS, has recorded the 4,694 deaths, 5,413 life-threatening reactions to Pfizer vaccine, and 23,867 hospitalizations as a result of the shot in the U.S. thus far, but critics say such reactions have been underreported. So, again, YouTube, I'm reading an article, that's all I'm doing. I'm not saying anything. This is insane. This is insane, and I would ask you to tuck this in the back of your head and revisit it, and see where the progress is on this, because this is concerning. It truly is concerning, and with everything going on with all of this, the last thing that we need to lose is transparency. And it seems like they're going to do everything they can to make sure that if there is any transparency, it'll be a long damn time before it happens. Anywho, hard to say. It's hard to say. All I know is it's really concerning to see all of this going on the way it is. The government, the way they're acting, the way they're working with Big Pharma and major corporations, because it doesn't end just with Big Pharma. Oops, sorry. You got to look at all the other stuff going on too, how they're working with all the major corporations and stuff like that. I mean, look at the money that's getting funneled into just certain businesses. You know what I mean? Like Amazon, for instance. And hey, I'm not knocking on Amazon. We use Amazon. It's really convenient. especially for people like us. But at the same time, we're feeding a monster, and something needs to be done to level this out a little bit. We need more mom and pop stores and stuff like that. We need more local businesses. I think everybody would agree with that. Honestly, what I think, and I'm not a fan of laws and regulations and all of that, but I can tell you one area that would help drastically, and that would be break up the retail giants. If you break up the retail giants, that right there is going to create so many jobs, and much better jobs than what Walmart offers, for instance. Going to create a lot better jobs. And it will also get the money back into the communities. Because, see, here's the thing, right? When it's a mom and pop store and you go there and you do business, right, that money stays in the community, at least for a little bit. Because, those, the person who owns the company, well, they're likely from there or near. The employees of the company, well, they're from there or near. And so that money kind of sticks around just a little bit more than if you, say, go to Walmart and go shopping, to where that money gets sent straight to Bentonville, Arkansas. You know what I mean? So, and then from Bentonville, Arkansas, it gets sent to China. So if you start shopping local, if we had more choices to start shopping local, a little bit of this would turn around. That's only one aspect, and there's many, many facets to this diamond. But we got to do something. And again, I am really against restricting. I am really against any interference with free trade and stuff like that. But we absolutely do need anti-monopoly laws, and what's been allowed to happen is just insane. And it's in so many different industries. It's not just retail, the medical, just everywhere. But I am telling you, it's nuts. So let's shift gears a little bit. I guess I'll actually do this one next. Been a lot of talk in the U.S. about the chip shortage and the effects it's having on the automakers and other industries, of course, but mainly the automakers is what I'm talking about here. And apparently now it's starting to take its toll in Europe. And so I figured I would show you guys what's going on with that, because, again, we've covered it multiple times, what it's doing here in the U.S., especially when it comes to the automotive industry. This article here, it says car sales across Europe plunged to their lowest level on record in October, the European Automobile Manufacturers Association said on Thursday. Registrations of new vehicles dropped 29% to 798,693 cars, with total sales for the first 10 months of 2021 a mere 2.7% higher than for the same period in 2020. The drop comes amid lingering semiconductor supply shortages triggered by renewed outbreaks of COVID-19 in Southeast Asia and resulting in manufacturing delays as well as port closures. Despite the recent drawbacks, car makers say the chip crunch is finally showing signs of easing, but it will continue to some extent well into the next year. We're getting by. We're trying to deal with it. I hope we're through the worst, Herbert Diess, CEO of Volkswagen, the EU's biggest car manufacturer, said at a conference in Berlin earlier this week. Volkswagen saw a 42% decline in deliveries in October compared to the same time last year, the worst among European manufacturers, while Fiat and Peugeot producer automaker Stellantis saw a 32% drop. Given the current figures, market researchers suggest annual European car sales for 2021 are likely to miss even the last year's pandemic-affected levels when global sales plunged near 15%. So it's taking a toll there, but here's the part of this whole thing that I'm not buying. Chips, and let's understand that it may not just be chips. it may be the entire circuit board. It may be the entire computer component that you're talking about when it comes to automobiles. But, they're not like car size. And you could fit a whole hell of a lot of those chips on a plane load. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not quite buying the story about the port closures, locking up these chips, because if they had the chips, if they had the chips and it was just a matter of the port closures, well, they could just fly them in. That wouldn't be a big deal. However, I think that if there's anything, it's an actual shortage of the chips themselves, if that at all. It may be people can't afford to buy new cars. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All I know is everything's really, really clown world right now. None of it makes any sense. And I'm just trying to figure it out to kind of get an idea of where the hell this country is and how fast it's heading where. So I think we kind of know the rough answers on that, but it would be nice to know just how fast we're gonna fall. Anywho, I wanted to talk about that, and then I got one other thing that I wanted to mention. It's come up a couple of times, and I'm viewing it as a possible indicator. Well, it is an indicator, but, it's also keeping my eye extra open on other things. As you know, tensions between different nations are getting a little steep right now. Between the U.S. and Russia, U.S. and China, things aren't doing so hot. And, I've been kind of on a bit of an edge. I won't say that I'm really concerned, but I've been keeping my eyes open and extra mindful of every little thing that's going on between countries that we hear about, and taking note of it, because I have a sneaky suspicion something's going to light off. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on. There was an article that came out today, and this isn't the first that this has been mentioned. It's been being mentioned, well, I know for a little while, to be honest, but here in the last week or so, it's come up a couple of times, and it come up before a while back, but nothing more was said about it then. But it's hit the news today. Well, I think China said something first, and then I guess Biden more or less replied today. So I hit the button. I was going to see if it goes by itself, but I don't know that it's going to. I'll hit it again. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I'll do it manually, or with the mouse anyway. Manual either way. Okay, U.S. considering diplomatic boycott of Beijing Olympics, says Biden. And this is something you might want to pay attention to. Let's read what the article has to say, and I'll make mention of something I've brought up a lot lately again. President Joe Biden has said that the U.S. is considering a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Winter Olympics. The White House has cited China's alleged human rights abuses as influencing the potential decision. Biden on Thursday described a diplomatic boycott as something we're considering in comments to reporters as he met with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki later said that China's alleged repression of Uyghur Muslims in the Xinjiang province was influencing discussions in Washington on a potential boycott. There are areas that we do have concerns, human rights abuses, Psaki told reporters. We have serious concerns. However, Psaki said that the final decision on a boycott would be made by Biden himself. China is set to host Winter Olympic Games in February 2022, Should the U.S. boycott the games, American athletes would still compete, but U.S. diplomats would abstain from the opening ceremony. Lawmakers from both parties have spoken up in favor of a boycott, and in October, a bipartisan group of senators proposed an amendment to the military's annual spending bill that would forbid the State Department from spending any money on sending U.S. dignitaries to the games. So we've got that going on, and that in and of itself kind of has a diplomatic level to it, if you will. But also, like I said, I would say keep an eye out and make sure that it doesn't. It's not just included in a line of other things, which I think it's going to be. But I also want to mention, bring up John Teeter again, because a lot of this stuff does fit that narrative. We're still fitting the narrative of the things that John Teeter said. So it's just, I don't know, it's not something that I rely on for being accurate, but it's something that is, honestly, it's kind of entertaining to watch. But how closely aligned. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google a guy named John Teeter. I don't know. I think JSNIP4's channel was taken down or something, but I know he's got a new channel, or I think he's got a new channel. He may have uploaded the videos on there. I don't know. But it's, I think, 3 parts, and he talks about John Teeter. Anyway, you can probably find it from that, what I just said, if he's got it back up. But anyway, very crazy, for sure. Very crazy. So let me go ahead and have a sip or two of coffee and a couple of vapes, and we'll do some headlines, and we'll get the hell out of here. I'm telling you, my neck, I literally pop it that way. I don't know of a whole lot of people that do that, but I have to, otherwise it just tears me up. My entire back is just janked. Ouch. Alright. I don't know if it'll work that time. Ooh, it went, finally. Alright. Got one here from last night. I don't know if I put this one out on the show, so it says Philippines reminds China of defense pact with U.S. over incident in disputed waters. Now to stuff that I put out this morning. A 20-year-old New York man who pleaded guilty to raping 14 girls will face no jail time. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Seoul indicates it may snub U.S. oil request. ISIS expanded dramatically in Afghanistan, the UN says. Russia sets preconditions for digital ruble rollout. 33 Russian mercenaries targeted by Ukrainian sting operation. Google to pay for French news in search results. First ever communist mayor elected in Austria. France and Germany blocked Russian Donbass peace plan, says leaked cables. UK citizenship could be revoked without notice. Iraqis to leave Belarus after failing to reach the EU. Bill Gates predicts COVID-19 mortality rate. Don't you just love that? Oil price eases on move from world's largest importer. Instagram invites users to rage shake their phones. Taiwan shows off new combat tool against Beijing. A war between Russia and Ukraine would be a tragic mistake, says Boris Johnson. A major French dictionary slammed for pandering to the woke. Germans facing a really terrible Christmas. Doesn't sound good. Russian Nobel Peace Prize winner fined for breaking foreign agent law. UN names threat that may cause global spike in prices. New HIV treatment approved in the UK. Cryptocurrency can spoil young people, says Modi. New mysterious planet possibly spotted in solar system. Merkel criticized for dangerous call with Lukashenko over Belarus border crisis. The UK might send illegal migrants to Balkans. Christmas celebrations canceled, the Kremlin tells children. I forgot to mention that. I meant to put that one up there too with the headlines. I missed that one. My apologies. Chemical castration backed for repeat rapist in Pakistan. A British school cancels J.K. Rowling and Churchill. High-profile Russian MP could be stripped of immunity. Israeli Defense Minister Cleaner accused of espionage. Sorry, I butchered that headline. Germany has agreed on plan to open humanitarian corridor for refugees on Belarus border, says Minsk. Israel and UAE in rare military partnership. Let's see, cover that one. Pfizer gets new $5.3 billion boost over COVID. How do you like them apples? Billions lost through hacks of crypto lending platforms. Disney to let only vaccinated kids get on cruises. I should have probably put that one up there too, I guess, huh? Let's see. Russia launches Zircon hypersonic missile. Germany sets grim COVID record and eyes new curves. AstraZeneca reveals cocktail that's more effective than its vaccine over time. EU should be sealed with fences, bloc member minister claims. Cop attacking wild boars euthanized after hunt. Germany labels Belarus claims on refugee deal fake news. Met Police expanding capacity to scrape data from digital devices. I mentioned that. Release of U.S. vaccine. Oh, mentioned that. Study reveals how long it took Germany to rid its justice system of Nazis. Biden's approval rating drops even further. I'm probably getting into the negatives. Rising food prices spark fears for Russians. Even Satan's like, yeah, I got to get that guy out. Let's see. Talked about that one. Florida's DeSantis travels to Brandon to sign bills restricting COVID mandates. Outrage as teens rapist spared jail time. FBI hid evidence in Malcolm X murder trial and convictions tossed. That was another big bit of news that came out today. Teen fighting on train sparks police probe. Putin's insights on Russian foreign policy revealed. We covered this one. Cover that one. U.S. lawmaker accused of racial violence over Halloween costume. Let's see. Another governor courts unvaccinated cops with relocation offer. NFL star accused of using fake COVID-19 vaccine card. Top Kamala Harris aide leaving amid reports of dysfunction in the VP camp. Well, yeah, the VP is dysfunction, so I'm sure the camp's going to be. And then this one just came out. Let me get it shared out here, and then I'll tell you the headline because it is pertinent at this juncture. All right. Punishment set for U.S. troops who refuse vaccination. Yikes. So let's check this out before we say goodnight. U.S. Army has threatened repercussions for soldiers who decline to receive COVID-19 vaccinations, saying that insubordinate troops will be barred from promotions, reenlistment, and a number of special military services. Army personnel who refuse the jab, including reservist and Army National Guard troops, will now have their service records flagged, preventing them from receiving favorable personnel actions such as reenlistment bonuses, promotions to higher ranks, decorations, and other awards, attending military academies, as well as tuition assistance with higher education, according to an official memo obtained by Defense One on Thursday. I authorize commanders to impose bars to continue service for all soldiers who refuse the mandatory vaccine order without an approved exemption or pending exemption request, Army Secretary Christine Wormuth wrote in the document dated November 16. Around 72% of the Army's active duty, reserve, and guard troops have been fully vaccinated, according to the Pentagon data cited by Defense One, while some 77% have received at least one dose, though many of the majority of soldiers, sailors, and airmen across all U.S. military services are now immunized. Some branches continue to see holdouts, with nearly 8,500 Air Force personnel missing a vaccination deadline earlier this month as thousands seek religious exemptions. The Marine Corps, meanwhile, announced on Thursday that it has no plans to immediately expel troops who miss a November 28 deadline. Navy Secretary Carlos Del Toro, whose branch oversees the Marines, said unvaccinated devil dogs would be treated in a very respectful manner and evaluated on a case-by-case basis, despite a previous memo warning that uncooperative soldiers would be outright booted from the service. The new Army directive comes amid a battle between the Defense Department and Oklahoma National Guard over the military-wide vaccine mandate. Earlier this week, the commander of the State Guards unit, Thomas Mancino, told his troops they would face no negative administrative or legal action if they refused the shot, prompting a terse response from the Pentagon, which insisted the mandate is a lawful order. Though Guard soldiers are largely under the control of state governments, the branch is still part of the broader national military apparatus and receives a significant amount of federal funding. So, anyway, I thought I might want to read that one before I call it a night. And with that, I'm going to call it that night, and I'm going to go flying. Anyway, I am out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. If something major happens tomorrow, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of craziness, I will certainly make videos. So I don't expect tomorrow to be as hectic, but now that I've said that, expect all hell to break loose. So anyway, I appreciate y'all coming. God willing, we'll see you again soon. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.